May meeting of the Board of Adjustment. Welcome to the St. Tammany Parish functions of the government. Could we have a roll call, Madam Secretary?
Mr. Valentine from Mandeville.
Here.
Mrs. Thomas from Mandeville.
Here.
Mr. Daly from Covington.
Here.
Mr. Blosh from Mandeville.
Here.
Mr. Speeds from Lacombe.
Here.
Mrs. Swindell from Covington.
Here.
And Mr. Sanders from Slidell. Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Everyone here, please, and I'm the worst at this, please silence your electronic devices. Silence them, turn them off, whatever you got to do. Any appeals to a decision from this board this afternoon must be directed to the 22nd Court of Appeals. Speaker cards are available over here, but I will make sure everybody gets a chance to speak, so we're good to go. The public speaking will have 10 minutes for the petitioner to make their case, 10 minutes for opposition, and then rebuttals, 5 minutes each side after that. And after your case has been heard, we'd ask that everybody quietly leave the building so we can get on to the next case. Next item on the agenda is the minutes from March 7th and April 4th. March 7th because of some changes.
We actually didn't do any changes. Everything was as recorded.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we had to approve them both.
Yes.
Okay. Any comments on the minutes? Seeing none from the porch side over here. Starboard side is good. I'll entertain. Anybody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I approve to approve the minutes from the March 7th, 2023
Got 'em.
meeting and the April 4th, 2023 meeting.
Does it have to be voted separately? No. Okay.
I have a motion by Ms. Thomas to approve the minutes of March 7th and April 4th. A second, please.
I'll second.
We got a second from Mr. Daly. Please vote with your screen.
Motion carries. All in favor.
Thank you. The first case today is BOA case number 3309. A request by an applicant in a PUD planned unit development overlay for an after-the-fact request to allow for a second monument sign to remain on the site. The property is located at 510 East Howes Beach Road, Slidell, Louisiana, Ward 9, District 13 on I-10. The applicant is Group 1 Realty, Inc. The representative is Deep South Signs, Ms. Stacy Landry. Is there someone here? Is Ms. Landry here? Is anyone here? Please come forward and... Oh, I'm sorry. Staff comments, please. Oh, shut up. Just a minute. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there.
According to the Unified Development Code, Section 130.2012, one monument sign shall be allowed for each 1,000 square foot of street frontage. In this case, a sign permit was issued in January 2022 for a new Honda monument sign, and if you see, it's shown here on site plan identified as new ground sign to replace the previously existing Honda sign, which was installed in 2003. A second approximately 30 square foot monument sign identified as Honda certified pre-owned, and you can see that it's also identified on the new ground sign site plan, was installed on the property without a permit. The second monument sign was installed to replace a smaller sign which was identified as certified used cars, as shown on the attached drawing identified as old ground sign.
Thank you. Please, I don't know who's going to speak, or you can both speak, but please state your name and an address and your relationship to this case.
Stacy Landry with Deep South Signs. Address is 3949 Meadow Ridge Drive, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
John Jacobson, Group 1 Automotive.
800 Gessner, Suite 500, Houston, Texas, 77024.
Thank you.
Office there.
Ms. Landry, you have anything to add with regard to this case?
The only thing that I could say as far as the second monument that was placed without a permit, that, of course, this is no excuse, was my fault. I was aware that the second monument was not permitted, and I was out with my husband who was going through cancer treatment. So by the time I got back, everything happened, and I was even unaware that it was even installed.
Anything else to add?
Yeah, I think from Group 1's perspective, we purchased the property back in 2019 or 2018. And when we did, one of the things was to give it a revitalization, which I think if many of you have driven down by I-10, you've seen that it looks great, except for the 2 oak trees we had to remove, unfortunately. But I think we've got a great surrounding landscape and a great dealership now. Unfortunately, come to find out through the inspections process that we did not have a permit for the certified sign. Our intent was to. Unfortunately, it didn't come up until now. However, what we would like is something similar to what we purchased was a new sign and then a certified use sign. And I'm not sure if this was submitted, but this is the picture of what's there and then what was there. So I think that might be in some of the submissions.
Yes.
It is. So really, we'd just like for it to look what it originally did and just a newer sign, ultimately.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board? Mr. Blash?
Mr. Chairman, I just have a question with regards to the allotted square footage per sign. I noticed that it said that it was a larger sign that was installed in the second sign. Does it still fall within the guidelines of the square footage that's allotted for street frontage?
No.
It does not. How much
Only
is-
one sign is allowed. One monument sign not exceeding 32 square feet is allowed
Okay.
per 1,000 square foot. So in this case, they applied for a permit to replace the original sign, which is on the mount in the middle. However, they replaced the other sign, which is certified used cars.
Okay.
I could not find a permit for the smaller certified used cars that was there before, and then they installed the second monument sign without a permit.
Okay, so I guess my question is that 1,000 feet is what would be allowed by right, correct?
So if you have a 1,000-foot frontage or less, you can have one monument sign,
Okay.
and if you have more, then you can have a second one.
All right, so we have an allotment for one, and yet we have two at this point in time.
Correct.
So even had they applied for the permit for the second sign, it still would have to be a variance or some sort of exception granted. Is that correct?
Correct. We would have denied the application, and then they could have come in front of the board to request.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure I understand. Okay.
Recognize Mr. Daly?
Yeah, I just have a question. So the site plan with the new ground sign, the old ground sign, I assume these are feet. So the new one is 5 by 5 by 8. I just want to, 5 foot by 5 foot by 8 feet. Okay, and then the old one was 3 by 8 by 11.
Seems
Okay,
accurate.
or close enough. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit wider, yeah.
Recognize Ms. Thomas?
Just for clarification, my understanding is that American Honda requires Honda dealerships to have a sign saying that they have certified cars, which as I understand it, are used, but
Correct.
certified. And that without that, you're not allowed to or not supposed to sell certified. Is that correct? Or
That is what we were told by Honda. That is accurate.
my daughter's worked for Honda, and I seem to remember that when they put that first one in place. So
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted clarification for that. Thank you.
And Mr. Spees?
Well, just looking at the picture, the last picture you had there, you know, that looks fine to me, the appearance of it. It doesn't look bad. The signs look good, and they look small compared to the big sign that's to the left of it, Harbor Center, a big old huge sign. Now, you can't miss that one, you know. But your two look good. So I just my opinion. But you should have got a permit. That's what you should have done. You should have got a permit.
Yeah, there's no excuse for negligence, that is true.
Any other comments or questions? Mr. Blosh?
You know, I'm wrestling with this. I'm still not sure if I understand it now that I think about it. How many square feet of sign can be allowed per 1,000 foot of frontage?
One 32 square foot sign, maximum.
How much?
32 square foot sign, maximum.
Okay, so we're exceeding, what's the per sign?
The base of the sign, the 24-foot base of the sign is not calculated as part of the 32 square feet.
Okay, that's just the pedestal, basically.
That's correct.
Okay. So the sign that was permitted, how many square foot is it exactly?
The one that is in the middle on the mount, it was approximately 32 square feet.
Okay, so in the second one is 30, so we're exceeding it almost by double.
Yeah.
If we approve this. Okay, all right.
Okay.
And I guess, and I can appreciate the hardship for what you're saying. Thomas was mentioning the ability to be certified by Honda, to sell certified Honda cars. And I wondered, would that be something that could be encompassed within the sign itself? What are the limitations that Honda requires for that?
So,
in other words, encapsulated in the monument sign versus the second separate sign?
right, the options there would be that we would have to go vertical, and as I seem to remember, not to lean on Stacy here, we didn't have that ability. So if we go vertical, it would mimic like the Buick down the street or the Chevrolet, where they have banners below. And for the sign that we have, that large Honda monument with the size, it sounds like, for less than 35 square feet, it doesn't really give us that ability with what Pattison, the signage company for Honda, allows.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just wrestling with this. We get this all the time where we have folks that come out after the fact and say, oh, we didn't mean it, and so, well, golly, no one means it, and we get it. But so we're trying to rein this in, if you understand what I'm saying.
Completely.
So we look at, and we're not trying to be difficult, but we're trying to find options that work for everyone so we can stay within the guidelines of what the ordinances call for, if you follow me. So,
Absolutely. I think the bigger question, again, not for me, because I'm here to make sure y'all get what you want and we are all happy. A lot of the people operationally have asked, well, how come Buick gets to have a 30-foot tall sign and another 30-foot tall sign that are 20 feet apart?
Right.
We understand that's not the parish.
Right.
So whatever you guys hold us to, we're happy to oblige.
Okay.
Okay. I don't see other requests for comment or questions. Would someone like to try a motion?
Did you ask for any opposition?
I did not. Is anyone here in opposition to this request for variance? Seeing none, we'll go back to a motion. I see no one coming forth with a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Thomas?
As unpopular as it will be, I would make a motion to grant this variance based on the facts that have been presented and the fact that it's not but with that being said, I realize that it is against regulation, but I've been on that street many times, and I have to agree, Honda looks very nice, and I would rather y'all have customers and serve the community, but that's not part of my motion. So I move to grant the variance.
We have a motion from Ms. Thomas to grant the request for variance on the signs at the Honda dealership. Do I have a second? I will second it. Can I do that? Yes. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, please vote with your screen. And the motion fails.
2 yeas and 3 nays.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, the second case for this afternoon is a BOA case number 3312, request by applicant in a 8C2 highway commercial district for variances to increase the maximum allowable height of the base of a monument sign from 2 feet to 5 feet and to increase the maximum allowable height of a monument sign from 9 feet to 13 feet. Property is located at 951 Gauze Boulevard East, Slidell, Louisiana, Ward 8, District 13. The applicant and representative is Vela Development, LLC, Peter Tafaro. Staff comments, please.
As for the Unified Development Code, the height of a monument sign shall not exceed 9 foot tall, and also the base of the monument sign or border shall not exceed 24 inches wide. The variances are being requested to allow for the placement of a 60-square-foot multi-occupancy sign on the existing 5-foot columns, bringing the overall height of the sign to 13 feet. The columns of an older monument sign currently located on the property are proposed to be repurposed as the base of the new monument sign. The base of the columns of the existing sign could be reduced to meet the maximum allowed height of 2 feet or 24 inches and to meet the maximum allowable height of 9 feet.
Is there anyone here that would like to speak for this case? Please state your name and address, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Peter Tafaro. I'm a co-owner of Vela Developments. My address is 518 Marina Road, Chalmette, Louisiana. We purchased this property several years ago, and we've been going through the process of rehabilitating it. It's been quite a lengthy project. This is what it presently looks like. It was the former Stan's Hardware. They had a conglomerate of signs in front of it that we wish to reduce. We're going to totally eliminate this one. We're going to take the one off the top and cut this one in half. The reason we're looking to get the height increased, we want to put a sign that's similar to this so our tenants can post their business type on it. We feel that with the parking right up against it, we've made concessions throughout this project with the Homeowners Association. At their most recent meeting, March 14th, there's a letter stating that they approve our site plan, which is in the process of being reviewed right now, and they approve the fact that we will change the fence on the side at our expense, and they approved our landscape plan. They look forward to us put there, and it's a quote, it says, "We're excited to see your project to completion. The work done to date has been a drastic improvement from the old site, and it'll be a welcome addition to the area. Once again, we're grateful that you reach out to us and look forward to continued positive relationship." I've spoken to Mr. Ari, my councilman, and he has no objection to the sign. The main reason we want to raise the sign is because we eliminated one of the drives in the front. We have an in-out now only on the bank side. Our parking will be adjacent to the sign, and if you park a vehicle there with a 2-foot pedestal, you won't see the sign. The hood of the vehicle is going to block it. So we've picked the height of a pickup truck and said we would like to start the sign at this height. We've done everything we can to try and put this back in commerce as fast as possible. I have no further comments. If you have questions, I can answer.
Just step back, please.
Sure.
Anyone in opposition to this request for the signs? Seeing none, Do we have any questions from Mr. Tafaro from anyone on the board? Mr. Daly?
Yeah, I have a question. So does it specifically have to be a monument sign? Like, does the bottom need to be wrapped? Because,
No.
yeah.
We assumed that would make a prettier sign, and
Okay.
part of the engineering that is required asked us to do engineering, and the engineer suggested that we tie those columns together
Oh, okay.
to meet the 142-mile-an-hour wind load requirement.
Okay.
Mr. Daly,
Yep.
it's part of the parish requirements.
It is part of the requirements to have, there's no pole signs allowed, period. Got it. It's been a while since we've had let alone two, but a single sign case. So, thank you.
Mr. Spees?
Yeah, reiterate what you said about the height of it. Did you change what you have on here to the height of it?
No.
Tell you exactly what the height is. I tried to, it's on the application, as well as, there's one sign that's there right now. This one is in excess of 20 feet.
Okay.
And we're looking to remove the complete top and bring it down to a height right here. Completely remove this sign, so it would look something similar to this. We're taking 3 signs down, and the man that was there had operated his business for 55 years. That was a dirt road when it first started, so as he grew, he just continued to add new signs as they were allotted. I believe you guys have drawings from the engineer and from our application that show right here what we're looking to do. This is a little, it's not quite exactly perfect because there will be a little distance between this stone and where the sign starts, but it does have all of the proper elevations. And we can leave the cap off the top if you guys don't want it, but we figured putting the address up there would be very helpful to the people in the area. We're trying to do something that's neat where we don't have to really plaster the front of the building up with signs. You know, this is what the front looks like now. I really don't want to put signs on it at all. But you know, if I can't get a good pedestal, then I'm going to have each tenant look to put signs across the front of the building. They're set back, and I don't think they would be seen or as attractive as one nice, pretty pedestal sign in the front. Did that answer your question, sir?
Yes, it does, but later on, you can add all kind of signs on the building, right, if you want.
I don't plan on putting a single sign on the building. I plan on putting A, B, C, D, E.
Thank you.
This is a white wall building now. The tenants will have to do the same process that I'm doing if they wish to put up a sign. And at that time, once a sign is put up that's neat, pretty, and nice, you have the ability to say yay or nay on the next sign. I don't want this to turn into a sign war. I'm hoping you guys restrict that and hold that to a bare minimum. I don't want to see banners. I don't want to see lights. And I've patiently waited to do this step by step. You know, for 3.5 years I've been working on this project, and we're very close. We get our site plan approved. 3 months I'm finished, and this is in Commerce, because the building's, it's white. It's like this right now on the inside. You know, it's exterior walls up, ceiling up, roof curbs, air conditioners ready to be set. But I can't do no more, because that's all my permit allowed was to restore the building per white wall, and that's it. I can't do the parking lot. I can't do nothing till site plan's approved, landscape's approved. So I said, let me go ahead and move forward with the sign and get that in the works. We're being reviewed by DOTD for the drive. It initially started with a drive in and a drive out of Meadow Lake. Meadow Lake objected to it. I told them I was fine with that as long as I could get in and out of the place. Department of Transportation said I could not use the two driveways that were there because as highway safety evolved, they don't want a driveway within a certain distance from an intersection. So they made me make the original driveway next to the bank an in-out. And they allowed me to wrap the building to get the people out. I said, that's fine for cars, but you don't want me to put the dumpster in the front. You want it in the rear. So I need to have the ability to have the truck go around and come back out. And the association reviewed it. They were fine with it. Mr. Ari reviewed it. He was fine with it. And it's going through just the normal process. I don't expect any hiccups with that. And all of that is within the guidelines and of St. Tammany and the subdivision and DOTD.
Okay, thank you. I'm recognizing myself now. Do we have a letter from the Homeowners Association you referred to?
I didn't have a copy of it. Do you have an extra copy for us?
I have a copy, and again, keep in mind it's a current one. It does not pertain to the sign. Like I said, I did not ask them for anything on the sign. They generated this letter themselves just to tell me, once I told them what my intentions were for the they were having their annual homeowners meeting, and I explained to them what my intentions were. I spoke to the president of the association, Kevin, and kept him abreast, and he's been quite supportive of it.
Okay. Then I would recognize Mr. Blash.
Okay, Mr. Farr, I appreciate what you're trying to do here with regards to the sign litter, because obviously no one wants Veterans Boulevard over that way, and I appreciate your revitalization efforts as well for that area.
Thank you.
It's going to help a lot. My only question to you is if we're looking at the plat that you submitted, and it shows the signage in front of the parking, you mentioned something about a car parking in front of it. I'm wondering as
adjacent to the sign, not in front.
Okay, well, that's what I mean. In other words, blocking the view. I'm not sure how that would happen, considering you've got green space there and as well an apron for ingress to the property. So I'm not understanding exactly. Maybe you can help me understand that better. When I pull up now, I park where the sign presently is, and I know this is not to actual scale, because if you look, part of what you're looking at is the front property line where that dotted line is, and then there's servitude in front of it. When we, just like that picture I showed you, when we park there, we're alongside the sign. That picture does not adequately show, the design doesn't adequately show where it's at. You can see right here, this is parking back behind it, and right where the grass is right here, there would be a vehicle parked right here. Right, but according to the plat that's submitted, it shows the parking all being behind that. And that's where I'm getting confused, because
Right.
I don't see any parking that would be allowed.
I agree with
in that green space.
I agree with what you're looking at, what I did submit, but I can tell you part of that is shrubs and trees, and that sign extends back further into the parking area.
Okay. And again, looking at it from the, and where are those shrubs if you're looking at this picture here, where are those shrubs? Are they in this?
My
this column?
understanding is they're going to completely wrap around the base of the sign.
Well, okay, but not to cover the sign itself, obviously.
No.
But,
Those are low-lying shrubs. Those are most probably 2 feet.
okay. Again, if you have your skirt coming in where your entrance is going to be, I don't see a car parking there blocking the view. The other side, potentially, I guess, but I don't see it if that's even parking there. It looks like that should be green space according to what the plat. And Helen, can you help me with this in terms of understanding as well where that green space is going to be?
The green space is, I'll be happy to get up if you'd like me to, but the green space is basically the lines that are shown. You have the row of shrubs that is along the parking spaces, and then the row of shrubs that is basically at the base of the sign, but everything else is green space in the front.
Right, and so that would be on a diagonal, so there would be no parking in front of that sign at all, on either side?
I don't
or to the
think
side
that
of
there's,
sign?
no, I'm not aware that it would.
That's correct, okay, that's what I need.
You'll have the sign and you'll have a vehicle parked behind the sign.
Behind it, but
And
not to
here-
the side of it or adjacent to it, correct,
Now, you
okay.
do have that street at a different angle. It's not at a perpendicular angle. The parking is not perpendicular to the street. So as vehicles approach, coming from the west, the portions of the sign would be obstructed if it's dropped down to 2 feet.
I'm not sure if I agree with that. I'm just,
I agree, coming from east heading west, you would have a clear view of it, but if you're coming this way, you may have an obstruction from it. But it's
right. Okay, I think I'm clear on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, I would, someone would feel like making a motion? I don't see anything.
We approve it as is.
Say that again, I didn't hear.
I'll make a motion that we approve it as is. Does anybody want to amend it in any way to make it pass?
We've got a motion from Mr. Spees to approve the request for variance as requested.
The reason being is that it's a very, very small change. And for that big operation there, I don't see that be a problem. That's what I'm looking at.
So we have a motion from Mr. Spees to approve the request. Do I see a second? Anyone want to second it?
I'll second it.
And we have a second from Ms. Thomas to request, to approve the request for variance. Any other comment from the board? Seeing none, vote with your screen.
Okay.
We have 4 yeas and 1 nay.
Your request for variance was approved.
Thank you so much, and I assure you I will make this a very beautiful building.
Before, there are two ladies in the back. Can I help you? Yes.
We had a variance.
What's that?
We had a court pay for a variance at Cavens Lane.
Thank you.
Yeah, it will be next month.
Oh, I'm sorry. They wrote May 2nd on the paperwork.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's gonna be next month, yeah.
We only had 2 cases this afternoon. That's what, and
Yeah, they wrote that on my paperwork.
we'll see you the first Tuesday in June.
June 6th at 2 p.m.
June 6th, right here.
June 6th at 2 p.m.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Be safe. Okay. With regard to old business, only thing I have on the old business is how are we doing on our issue of having an ID, getting our pictures taken and getting a nice ID for members of the board?
So we are waiting on some of the members to provide some additional paperwork.
Call us out.
Maybe we can discuss after the meeting.
Oh, okay.
And then we're moving forward. We're moving forward in that regards.
Mr. Shondell's got an ID. I sure would like to have one too. All right. Any other old business? Seeing none, how about new business?
5 cases for next month.
Oh, 5 cases. We'll be busy next week.
And
Next month.
we have some after the fact as well.
Probably for a couple hours. Okay. Any other business? I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting. You make a motion. You got a motion? Mr. Bly should adjourn the meeting. Meeting's adjourned. Wait a minute, hold on. Rabbit.